Now that the rivers are closed, one of the most accessible places we can fish are canals, and the spring's a fantastic time to be out fishing. I mean, the weather today is fantastic. Possibly not the best for fishing, but it's certainly lovely to be out. And today I'm going to explain to you 5 tips that I kind of use as a guideline to help me target perch on canals at this time of year. But also they'll help you catch other species as well, like pike, zander and chub. I've already had a little bit of a fish, and I've had a few bites. I've foul hooked a zander, but I haven't actually caught anything yet. But hopefully as the day goes on, I'll have a few more bites and manage to hook them in the mouth and get them in the net. My first tip is to look out for movement of water. So canals are generally pretty still, and the only time that you actually see the water moving is either when a boat passes or when a lock gate opens. And as you've just seen, I followed a boat up the canal to an area where I had a couple of bites earlier this morning to see if, with the boat going through, that would stir the fish up and the predators would take advantage. I didn't have any bites, but that is often the case, that once a boat goes through, it stirs up the water, disorientates the bait fish, and it's amazing. It can be pretty instant, actually. Often on your first cast after a barge has gone through, you'll get a take. So it's always something to look out for. And even the most subtle changes to the speed of the water can make a difference as well. For example, the opening of a lock when a barge is going through. Now the lock may be half a mile, even further upstream, but that rush of water obviously pushes all the water further downstream as well, so it can impact the fishing further down from that. And just a slight change in the speed can again get fish moving. Movement of water can come from other sources as well. There's actually water being pumped in here, which is generating a lot of oxygen, and I've actually just fished this spot, and it's really quite deep compared to other stretches of the canal. So anywhere where there's inlets, outlets, they're all worth a try as well. So keep an eye out for a movement of water. My second tip is based around location. Canals have lots of features, many man-made ones such as locks, bridges, moored barges. Some of the best places to try, especially in the spring, are natural structures such as overhanging trees, reeds, bushes. And one of the reasons for that is because they provide a lot of shade. Canals can be quite exposed places at times. This particular stretch has got quite a lot of cover from trees especially. They not only provide a lot of structure for perch and other species to sit in, on a bright and sunny day like this, they provide shelter, and the water temperature can often be cooler as well. I'll choose my lures accordingly for fishing these structures. I'll probably come on to that a little bit later. My main point I was going to come on to was depth. It's often thought that perch like deep water, and they do, but in the spring, when water temperatures start to rise, don't rule out fishing in shallow water. I've caught perch in 6 inches of water, and they'll often move to places where the water's warmer, but also they're a bait fish gathering as well, whether they're there to spawn or just to kind of bask in the sun or just be in that warmer water. So basically, if the habitat's right and the food's there for them, then the perch will be as well. So It's worth trying a variety of different locations, but don't rule out the shallow water in the spring. Well, it's not the species we're after, but it's finally a fish in the net. So before I get this out, I'll just explain. But I had a few bites round here earlier on, and I actually foul hooked a small zander. So I gave it a rest for a little while and came back a little bit later on with a drop shot. And the clean-up tactic, as it's so well known as, has caught me a fish. So it's not our target species. It's an immaculate little zander. Cool, he's an angry one. The drop shot is such a great method for when you've found a group of fish and then for some reason they're not having other tactics. This finesse method is great for when the fishing gets really tough. Tip 3 is about the setup that I like to use for targeting perch in small canals like this. Now, I'm really just after bites. I'm not after big fish in particular, but that would be a bonus. And for this, I'm using a really light outfit. So this is the Street Fighter finesse rod. It's 1.90 m or 6'3", and it casts 1 to 8 grams. It's paired with an 1000 size Prism X reel, and that's spooled with 0.08mm braid, so it's a really light outfit. This is able to fish lures comfortably up to about 7 centimetres in length. It's perfect for fishing the micro lures. I can also fish larger soft baits as well, as long as I fish them on a light enough jig head. Anything over 3 grams is a bit too much really. And it's also got a pokey enough tip to be able to fish some light crankbaits and spinners as well. So it's quite a versatile little rod despite having such a light casting weight. One of the unique features I like about this rod as well is that the last 2 guides have fluorescent whipping. So it's great for helping detect bites, especially when you're fishing in low light levels. Oh yeah, here we go. That's a nice fish. Now what's that? Ah, it's a pike. Whoop. Whenever I'm targeting perch, be it on canals, lakes, rivers, anywhere really, I always use a light wire trace as a leader, and here's why. So although I'm fishing with a tiny lure, I've got a micro grub on at the moment. There's always the chance of catching a pike, and to save being bitten off, fishing with a light wire trace is a wise thing to do. Otherwise you're leaving hooks and lures in a fish. So that's an extra tip there that's probably one of the most important of all. Got another little pike here which has taken the micro grub again, so I'm just going to quickly unhook this. Quick show to the camera, and that leads me nicely onto tip number 4. Tip 4 is about lure choice. As water temperatures start to increase as we head into spring, crayfish and other invertebrates become a lot more active, and the perch take advantage of that. So creature baits and curltails especially are great lures to try because they mimic those underwater aquatic invertebrates, and they have a very slow fall rate as well. So when you're casting to structures such as overhanging trees, moored barges, it just gives the fish a long time to see the lure as it falls through the water column. As we move further into spring, you'll start seeing fry, and this is a great time to use a bait fish imitation like a shad. Now there's quite a few different options within the micro range for mimicking fry. You've got the micro tiddler fast, the mini fry, and the micro spiky shad as well. So these are all worth considering. Soft baits are fantastic, but on some days hard baits can be a brilliant lure to try. So crankbaits especially are a great choice. Something like the Salmo Rattling Hornet, which is a great lure because it can imitate a bait fish as well as a crayfish. When you're tapping the bill along the bottom, it has a really unique, unusual action, and with the rattle as well, that can be very useful when you're fishing in coloured water. And then another method not forgetting about that's a timeless classic is the spinner. So you've got that big blade there that when fished on a straight retrieve spins and creates a lot of flash and vibration, and it's the kind of lure that can just wind perch up, and it works for all predatory species as well. So that catching of the light from the blade can work especially well when fishing in coloured water. So it's a golden oldie, that would be the way I'd describe the spinner. So there's a lot of different types of lures to consider when fishing in the spring, and it's great to have a variety on you so that if there's one lure or one method that's not working, then you can always change to another. So we've just had the first perch of the day. I can't lay claim to it, it's my dad that actually caught this fish. He's fishing with me today, but he's a little bit camera shy, so he doesn't like going in front of the camera, so I'm holding it for him. It's a mint little perch, but it's been an especially difficult day's fishing. It's not helped by the bright weather, but by scaling down and fishing really dull, we're managing to scrape out a couple of bites. Tip 5 is about colours and additions. It's always a good thing to have a mix of bright and bold colours wherever you're fishing, and on canals often those bright colours can be really effective, and the reason for that is because they're only shallow and the amount of boat traffic that goes up and down often stirs the water up and makes it very turbid, so the visibility is actually pretty low. So yeah, your bright colours like chartreuses, whites, yellows, red, and also bold colours like black can be very effective. Sometimes it also pays to add little additions to the lures as well, just to make them a little bit easier for the fish to find. So sometimes I like to insert glass rattles into the soft baits, so especially on creature baits, because crayfish scuttle along the bottom, and this just increases the noise. And another thing I like to do is on some soft baits, if I want to add a bit more flash and attraction to the lure, I'll add a rotating willow leaf blade. So with this mini fry here, I've just cut the paddle tail off and I've screwed a blade into the back of this, and not only does it have a nice slow fall rate, but I can fish it on a straight retrieve, I can hop it along the bottom, and it really catches the light well, especially on bright days like this. I think the weather now is better for being in a beer garden next to a canal rather than actually fishing one, but for me this is all about having fun, this kind of fishing, and hopefully picking up a few bites along the way. So I hope you've learnt a few new techniques and tips to try when you next head out fishing. Feel free to let us know in the comments underneath this video which of those tips you've put into action, and thank you for watching. And feel free to subscribe to the Fox Rage YouTube channel too.